Hey there, my name is David with Emerald City Rivian Club out of Seattle, and today we have Jason, who has created a really interesting system for the Yakima bed rack system to adapt to the Rivian. So yeah, take it away.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so like Dave said, what I've developed is basically a way to mount the Yakima HD system onto the bed top for the Rivian. As we know, the Rivians have a very proprietary mount system for the crossbars, and there's a lot of electronics going on in here, so we don't want to, if we can avoid it, drill into the bed top, and it's just a very specific mount system. So what I've done, and I don't know if this is going to come across extremely well from the distance of the camera, so I'll try and come in a little bit, but what I've developed is basically what I term like a sandwiching system. So it's a custom molded aluminum piece that fits in the receiver at the base that's threaded and acts as a backer plate with a sandwich top that comes on top of it and creates a flush mount. And so this flush mounted top then marries to a cutout, a routed base that stretches from mount to mount, so that what we wind up having is an extremely stable, basically pinched in system that includes the Yakima track system as its essential mounting point, right? Inside of this. So that the Yakima track mounts inside of the wood base, and we'll get to materials in a second. This is just for display purposes, but the Yakima track mounts in here and is through bolted through the mounting system. And the end result is extremely stable. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere, and it has basically all the strength of the Yakima base system. The several caveats that I'll point out are that one, this is less than 36 inches because that's just the way the Rivian bed is aligned. These towers are basically centered right on the Rivian factory mount. And by centering them on the Rivian factory mounts, it's maximum stability for the Rivian, but it is less than 36 inches. So, you can't rely on whatever the stated specs are for the Yakima system factory.
But it also leaves the buttons exposed on either side, so without making a whole other system and having drilled in buttons, this is a nice kind of middle ground.
And Dave took the words right out of my mouth. That is exactly why it was done this way, so that we still have access, and it basically custom fits the Rivian system.
Yeah. And then this works with both of the high Yakima and the low Yakima rack. So whether you have it, this is the low one.
This is the low one. So this is the outpost, and this also works with the overhaul. Yeah. So it's a fairly flexible system. I actually have both the overhaul and this is the outpost shown here, and I switch between them. So it's once you get the base mounted, because you're on the track system, it's really easy just to pop this, the bases off and swap them out. And so, for example, if I'm going to haul lumber, I put on the overhaul and I match it up to the height of the Rivian crossbars on the roof, and I get a full roof rack out of it. So
yeah, that's awesome. And then materials.
So this is all prototype right now. So right now, this is basically a hardwood base that I've stained in a dark gray to match the Rivian, and I like the way it looks, but there are drawbacks from using wood. So for production, we're actually open to suggestions, what people might think might be the best. What we're batting around right now is something like a laminate, or maybe like a molded plastic, or like a bamboo. A bamboo laminate was recommended to me. So anyway, whatever it winds up being, it's going to be pretty weather resistant, and it's going to be very strong, although it should be pointed out that the strength of this whole system really doesn't come from the base molding. This is more decorative. The strength really comes from the sandwiching of the Yakima track on top of the mounts, with the wood basically being what amounts to a washer between them.
And then for an adapter sandwich kind of kit like this, what is estimated cost?
Estimated cost, we're looking somewhere between $500 and $700, and that's a very rough estimate. It hasn't been refined as completely as it could be. You know, there still needs to be a lot of research as far as what the production costs are going to be for how many units we might make, and so that's where you guys come in. If we can get a gauge of how much interest there is, how many people might be looking to buy something like this, then I'll know how many, you know, what type of production run it would be, and that would greatly affect the cost. So the more people obviously would be buying it, the lower the production cost, the lower the cost of the unit. That being said, we're going to include a link in this video to, we're either going to do a survey or just, you know, put it up on an Indiegogo site. But either way, we'll have a link to a way where you guys can kind of vote on what you might be interested in, and, you know, if you would want to have something like this.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see like your system plus the whole Yakima kit is coming in a little less expensive than the extrusion overland rack, and a lot less expensive than the overland rough racks. So if you're kind of into the Yakima family, or I almost see this as a big benefit if you have a second vehicle that also utilizes this, that has the rail, you can swap between the two without having a like custom-made extrusion or overland rack that only works for this vehicle.
Yeah, and of course the other benefit is that, like Dave said, you're in the Yakima family, so if you have a lot of attachments, even if you don't swap the whole thing, you can swap attachments back and forth.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks.